Hi, I'm Jeff.
And I'm Marnie. We're two broke teachers who love to travel. Our years of experience traveling on a budget have given us insight into the best and most affordable ways to see the world. Now, we want to share our adventures and knowledge with you.
Follow along as we share tips, tricks, and hacks to help you travel the world without breaking the bank. This is Broke Teacher Travel Podcast.
Hey guys, how's everybody doing today?
I'm Marnie.
And I'm Jeff.
Welcome to the Broke Teachers Podcast, Episode 2.
All right, so today what we're going to talk about is creating your bucket list. Actually, your bucket list with an S. A lot of times people just kind of get focused on what's on my bucket list and they just go with that one direction. I would really like people to think about, creating more than one bucket list. Maybe bucket list for art or museums or, what?
The Disney parks.
The Disney parks. Maybe
Architecture.
National parks, any of those kind of things.
Yeah. You have to decide first when you're trying to decide on a destination if you want to travel domestically or internationally.
And one of the things that I've found, a lot of people always ask me, well, Jeff, are you afraid to travel? I mean, I would never want to go. I'm afraid. I've realized in the 30 countries I've been to, people are people, and their cultures are different, the language are different. But in general, people are just trying to get by and enjoy their life just like we are.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's something that once you start traveling, you see that everywhere. That people are pretty much the same across the world. Just their cultures are a little different.
And I think one of the things to start with is if you're afraid of an international flight or just you don't think it's for you, kind of work your way up and start domestically, even start close to home.
Yeah, I firmly agree with that because I'm not big on flying, but I've done it and I love traveling. I just try to space my flights a little further apart than Jeff does.
She does hold on. She does hold on tightly.
Yes, I do. I'm pretty sure there are some imprints in the seat handles.
But, one of the things to start with is maybe just look in your own community and look for, some of those natural things. In Florida, we're the Sunshine State and the Swamp State, Mosquito State, and all of those things. But just recently, Marnie was telling me about a couple of national parks here that I didn't even know about.
Oh, the state parks. St. Helen Camp St. Helen. Sorry, I got the name mixed up. Camp St. Helen State Park has dune lakes, and they're very rare. And that's something that's, really cool. That's right here at our back door. And, I mean, people don't just take the time to look around sometimes and see what's right around them.
And, I have some friends that, start off and they have a very large family and they do 60 miles, what's within 60 miles that we can go through. And they were just telling me that they said, hey, Jeff, you're from Mariana, right? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, have you ever heard of that place called the Caverns? And I'm like, yeah, I've heard of the Caverns.
Yeah, absolutely. That was the big 4th grade field trip where I grew up. We went to the Caverns.
But it is worth an hour drive to go see it. It is
absolutely.
It is an amazing sight if you've never been there.
It is. And even for people who live in the area, if you've never been, take a minute and go see it.
And there's some cool. There's a lot of natural springs in this area, and this is just our area. Wherever you're at, I promise you, regardless of how back out in the middle of nowhere in Podunk you may think you live, there is something cool around there.
There is something to be seen around you. Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit about finding deals and how that can relate to your destination.
All right. I always say life is about the hookup. Life is about, knowing the right people. Well, it's also about knowing the right ways to look for deals and who to trust and things of that nature.
Yeah. Deals can be a great way to help you choose.
And remember, it's a $1 billion industry. People always talk about that, travel and tourism. I go to countries sometimes, and that is one of their, top 2 or 3, things that their country does is tourism. And people are making money off that. A lot of people make a lot of money. And, so they're competing for your dollar. And so realize as much as you may want to go somewhere, those people want your money too.
Yeah. One of the ways that we find deals is through the internet. And one of the best companies that we found is Gate One Travel. And we have no affiliation with Gate One. We've never worked with them before. We've just used them as a consumer. And you want to tell them a little bit about some of the experiences you've had with Gate One?
Yeah, I'm one of these people that, I like to go the first time through. I talked about the bucket list or lists, and one of the problems is the bucket. You got the bucket and you put a little something in, but there's a whole lot left. So what I do with like a Gate One tour is the very first one is kind of the basic one. And you go and you see the cool things that you want to see, and then you make notes of stuff. Man, I would have liked to had more time here. But so far with Gate One, I've traveled to Peru and took an excursion to Machu Picchu. Did some pretty cool things like that. And one of my favorite trips of all time was the one I took back in November to Israel with Gate One.
Yeah, you've really enjoyed a lot of their trips. It's really been easy, I guess is the right word.
It really is. They have somebody to meet you at the airport. They handle transportation. They handle all of those things. And for me, if it's a country I've never been to, I want somebody to help guide me through that. Then the second time through, hey, I'm good to go and just wander around.
That first time, it's a sense of security, I think.
I think so as well.
Yeah, you feel safer. You're in good hands. If it's a good company, no matter which company you use, it's just that safety net.
And one of the things that's cool about this particular company is that after you've traveled with them the first time, then every Monday they'll send you their new deal. And then sometimes on their website they have trips that people have canceled, and so you could pick up theirs at a discounted rate and things like that. They also will give you a credit, a flight credit or a travel credit. It may only be $25 or $50 if you recommend someone go and they end up taking one of those tours. I have a couple of my friends right now that are on tour in Italy, and they're going through Gate One, and they just tell me they're having the time of their life over there.
But that's something that's not just Gate One, I don't think. I think a lot of companies offer that same type of deal where if you recommend it to someone and they tell them that you recommended it, then you do get a little bit of a credit toward your next trip.
And if you're one of those people that are the organizer and the planner, I know a lot of these companies, you could actually go in and basically be a tour, not guide, but kind of put the tour together, coordinator, and that way you might get to travel at half price or even free in some cases. I know some
like
people,
a travel planner.
Right. I know some people that actually do that, and that's a way to really help on that budget.
Kind of like when we used to work for Disney. It had its perks too.
Oh, yeah, it absolutely did.
Yeah. Okay, another thing, though, when you do look at websites for deals, be careful.
Yeah, I mean, there is sometimes a sucker born every minute. Don't be that sucker. And again, one of the things I always suggest is find somebody that has traveled with them. If you see, check the rate, check the
reviews.
The reviews, and I've actually contacted a couple of people that had posted negative reviews about things, and sometimes it's they're really not warranted, and then sometimes they really are. So.
Yeah. And another thing, you can always check with the Better Business Bureau as well to see how they're rated with them.
Right, and would you travel with these people again? And always, if you're looking for this travel deal and it's a tour specifically, they'll show you what hotels you're staying at, and then you could go there and do the hotel reviews. And I do that all the time to make sure, I'm not above sleeping on a park bench in Paris, but my wife probably she's not all about that life. So, but I do like to make sure it's in a safe area and that it's clean, and that it's centered to public transportation and things like that. So.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, that's important, especially if you're traveling with a family or a group.
right?
That kind of stuff is very important.
Right, it's like I've stayed anywhere from 5-star hotels to hostels. Yes, I said hostels. But I've enjoyed most of it. Can't say every single one, but one of the things you always have to keep in mind. As an individual, it's really cool. You go do what you want to, but one of the big things that I would always encourage is, especially when your kids are small, traveling as a family. That's the one thing that, honestly, the best memories of my life are when, I was traveling with my family and the kids were young and we would take road trips. And one thing that we always tried to do was make sure everyone got involved in this entire process.
Absolutely. It is so important to involve the kids and just everybody. Everybody needs time to pick something that they like on the trip.
And, by that, we mean more than just playing I Spy for 6 hours.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Punch Bug or something like that. But we have done that as well.
Yes, a few times. But things like actual destinations that are involved in the trip or things that they want to see or do, a museum, art exhibit, a musical production, something like that. Just whatever your kids are into, try to incorporate it into the trip.
I know that there's been a lot of cool road trips we've taken. And I remember one where, of course, big surprise, I wanted to go to a Civil War battlefield. And we were there, and Jordan, my daughter, was a teenager at this time, said, yeah, we can go there. And I'm like, really? He said, oh, yeah. And then I find out that some YouTuber lives in there somewhere in Virginia.
Yeah, somewhere, I can't remember.
And so we ended up going by and, fortunately we never found the YouTuber's house. That probably would have been a little weird. But
well, she didn't want to do that anyway. She just wanted to go where they were from.
I'm just kidding. But, those are some of those things, also that, what do your kids like? It's a great time not to just have the kids, just sit there and be quiet. It's a time to talk to your kids and see what they like. There's, I know that my son was a big video gamer.
Still is.
And that, anytime, a new video game would come out, and Assassin's Creed, that was the big one. And, he's like, hey, Dad, there's an Assassin's Creed based on the American Revolution. And I'm like, oh, yeah, funny you should mention that. I've been thinking about going. Or in Italy, the Assassin's Creed, there's always something really, really cool.
You can tie your child's interest into any vacation, pretty much.
My son, he'd only traveled with us, and he tells us one day he's going to take a road trip to California.
He and his wife, yeah.
And it was just such a cool story. I mean, they went to Roswell, and that's somewhere I've never went. Matter of fact, we're adding Roswell to the bucket list, even though there may be nothing there. But also, there was a place out there, not Hot Springs, Good Springs, or something from a video game, and he was just tickled to death to be there. So that's really cool. Also, one of the other great memories was what was the one where we went to Clearwater or something?
Yeah, to the Clearwater Marine Museum or Society or something. We went and visited Winter, the dolphin.
And my daughter had talked about Winter, the dolphin, the entire time, and my son was really, oh my God, I don't want us to go see a dolphin. Well, we got 1 million dolphins, and then he found out that the largest hot topic in North America was in Clearwater, so
down the road.
And so we went and saw Winter, and my daughter was happy. And then, well, let's just say the hot topic was not the largest one.
No, I'm pretty sure the one in our mall was bigger than that one.
But nonetheless, we did.
We
went, and so we didn't hit a home run with that quest, but we did go, and
we had fun.
I
mean, that's the important thing. We created more memories with our kids that are just going to last a lifetime.
Right. So we talk sometimes about how most disappointing vacation moment, and it's like, yeah, when we were the hot topic after I had to go to with the dolphin, and then there was the hot topic wasn't there, but we ended up going to some other places and seeing some cool stuff, and we made it up to them later.
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, just find your child's interest and go with it. They'll appreciate it more than you'll ever know. They really will. And it creates those family memories that are so, so important.
Now, the other thing is to, vacations from your vacations. That's one thing. As teachers, we have a little more time, But I see people that over spring break or Thanksgiving break or Christmas break, they start on the day of, and then they come back the day that school starts back, and they have not recharged at all. So, Marnie, we'll talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's important to build in some downtime from your vacation. Maybe a day, actually, at the end. Come back a day before you have to start back to work, an extra day before, because you need that time to recharge. Going on vacation is a lot of work. It is not easy to go see all the things you want to go see, unless you're going to go lay on a beach somewhere. Then it's a little different.
And then, talk to your boss about maybe taking that Monday or that Tuesday off. And, I know they don't always like for you to do that, but it is one of those things that, I promise you, your employer wants you at, full strength, ready to go, ready to work. And when you come in and, you're lethargic or you're, jet lagged or whatever, you're not going to be the best product that you can be.
Absolutely not. It's important. It gives you time, that extra day gives you time to rest, recharge your batteries. You can get some of your vacation laundry done. You can just relax around the house. And it really does make a big difference, not only in how tired you are, but your mindset. You actually get to reset your brain and be ready for work.
One of the things that I like to do is, and I will tell you that if you're going on a tour, that they usually pick you up at the airport and it is go, go, go. But you have the option oftentimes to fly in a day early. So if your tour's starting on a Monday, you could actually fly in on Saturday evening and stay all day Sunday and just kind of, acclimate yourself to everything. And then if you can, even if you fly back on Sunday, take that Monday off, because I really think that your body, especially if you're traveling internationally, you need a day to acclimate both ways.
Yeah, and like you were saying about getting there a day early, Getting there a day early helps you with the jet lag. And a lot of these tours try to, like Jeff said, get you going right out of the gate. As soon as you land, they start you in the trip, in the vacation part. And that is difficult. Now, it is really hard. It's hard on your body.
Now, if you're one of those people that could sleep on a plane, then that's absolutely fine, because you could sleep for 8 hours. But, I do not do well on planes. I stay up and then when I hit the ground running, by the end of the day, I am tired. Marnie used the term earlier when we were talking about this. She said, you just feel disoriented.
Yeah, you really do. I do not remember anything from our first day in London.
And, we saw some pretty cool stuff. I remember that. And
I can't tell you what all of it was at this point.
And then we finally got some sleep. And then, we're up at 7 in the morning going again. And so if you have that first day to acclimate, that is possibly the best thing. And what I've noticed is some tour companies will actually help you with your flight, and they will ask you, would you like to arrive a day early or to stay a day after? And so that's a pretty cool thing.
Take advantage of that if you can, because it really does make a difference. I think that extra day at the beginning makes a difference in your whole trip.
It really does. I mean, it's just like, going to work tired. I mean, you don't want to do that. You don't want to go on vacation dead tired. It's like Marnie said, it's a lot of work. And one of the cool things about traveling is the more you do it, the less work it does become, because now you realize how to do things. For example, my first time, I had the big carry-ons, I had all that. Now I just take a backpack, and that's what I take with me.
Yeah, over the years we have definitely learned to pack lighter.
And it makes it easier to move about, to get through security. You don't have to go to bag claims. And it's just a pretty cool thing. So again, but it's up to you. I mean, if you're somebody that is, wants to wear 20 different outfits, then we'll have some tips later about making sure how your bags, to identify your bags and things like that.
Oh, so, yeah, our daughter's going to take care of the packing.
Right.
Thing, because she is an expert at it.
I did notice on this last trip, my daughter kind of always consolidated my bags for everything. And so I get to Israel and I'm looking, and I didn't do as good a job as packing those things, but understand that anywhere you go, they, if you need contact solution, if you need, an antibiotic, if you need whatever, people, they can get it for you. So it's, anything that you need everywhere in the world, they have something similar to it.
Absolutely, 100%. I know when we were in Europe, kids needed things, and it was easy just to pop into a store and find what you needed. If they didn't have exactly what you were looking for, they could help you find, like you said, something close.
And, when I say they have it anywhere, any of the big cities, any of the towns, things like that. I mean, obviously, if, I noticed whenever I was in Peru and I was getting on the train to Machu Picchu, I looked over and there was a sugar-free Monster. And now I may have paid $7 for it, but in the middle of the excursion to Machu Picchu, I had a Monster. So that's kind of, again, these people make money from this. They want you to be happy. They want to make money, and they want you to come back. That's the big thing that, realize as bad as you want to go places, those people want your money. And so they're willing to really, really, work with you on a lot of things sometimes.
Now, one of the last things that we are going to talk about is don't let your budget determine your destination.
Yeah, one of the things that, they're like, Skip, man, how do you do all of these things? You're on a teacher salary. What do you do? How do you do that? And we've got our next episode, I think, is going to be
budgeting,
about budgeting. But, where do you want to go? And, if you want to do something, it's just like anything else in life. If there's something you really want, you're going to find a way. Travel is no different.
No.
We have friends that are all over the world, doing different things and traveling.
Yeah, absolutely. It's about planning and doing a little bit of research. And you can find deals on hotels. You can find deals on rental cars, on flights, whatever you need. You can make the trip happen. It's just about learning how to do it and do it efficiently. And
there's a lot of times, there's off seasons, just like, there's off seasons for wherever you live and something. There's off seasons throughout the world, and in their off season, they still want tourist money, and you may be able to get a flight for anywhere between half to maybe even only 25% of what you would pay in the summer. We're being from Florida, it's we have the beach community. It's hot here in the summer. I'm not really particularly crazy about going to Italy in July, because it's like being here in July. But in November, December, even up through March, those areas, the flights are about half the price.
Yeah, and that can make a huge difference in whether you book a vacation or not, is the price. You have to look at that. But if you have ways to get that amount down, you can go wherever you want.
And at some point, we'll do a podcast about, credit cards and travel points and things like that. I'm relatively new at this, and, I'm still learning, but I do know that I've got a flight from here in Panama City to Atlanta to New York to Cairo and back using travel points. And that's, about a $1,500, almost $2,000 flight.
Yeah, it's all about just learning to save, learning other ways to save, learning ways to earn points, things like that. It's perfectly doable. Just decide where you want to go, and you can make it happen, and we'll help you along the way.
And again, one of the things that I always want to reiterate every time is that this is a community. This isn't just me and Marnie saying, "Hey, we know best," because
we don't.
We always learn. I mean, I sit there and I listen to other podcasts, and I'm like, I didn't know that. And it's one of those things that it's not like it's a competition. It is we're all trying to work together to find ways to do this. I think that the greatest joy in my life with traveling is even more joyful than whenever I see things for the first time, is when I see people see things for the first time.
Yes.
One of my favorite things to do is in the Sistine Chapel, to walk to the very back of the room and watch people come out the door and see the Sistine Chapel for the first time. One of the great memories of my son was, he was a 18-year-old, just graduated from high school, and he said, "Man, I never knew something could be that beautiful." And you'll find those moments.
Absolutely. They're everywhere when you travel. Just the wonder of everything. I mean, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing.
And again, one of the things that, you know, there are areas the flights are about half the price. And, you know, you'll find those moments.
Absolutely. They're everywhere when you travel. Just the wonder of everything. I mean, it's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. But like we said, we're going to talk to you about budget on our next podcast and how to budget for these trips and make it happen. We're here to help you, and we want to hear from you guys. We want to hear you tell us your ideas, your thoughts, and ways that you travel and where you travel. Keep in touch. Drop us a line below. Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. The Broke Teachers Podcast. Follow along.
All right, thanks for joining us, guys.
See you next time.
Thank you.